Hey guys, Steve here once again, this time to review World of Goo, a fast-paced puzzler for the PC and Wii. In this game you take control of, well, I suppose this black cursor thing, to assist in the capturing of various goo balls to further the progress of the aforementioned World of Goo. The game starts you off with a simple objective. Here are some guys, here's the pipe, get the guys to the pipe. You do this by using some of the goos to build towers and other structures to get around obstacles and eventually make your way to the pipe, where any remaining goos may be collected. The puzzles will generally make you think a little differently though, as you have to factor in the physics of the world on any given stage. Like say you need to cross a gap to get to the pipe. The best option would be to make a bridge, right? But if you try to build outward with no support, the results are generally going to be disastrous. What you'll realize through trial and error is that you need to build upward, and then when you think your tower is tall enough, you make it fall forward towards the gap, and there you go, there's your bridge. I really like the focus on physics in the game, as it's a nice change of pace from the 10,000 joule-based puzzle games. The game also adds a further degree of challenge by requiring you to capture a certain amount of goos to pass the stage. You can make the most solid tower in the world, but if you run out of goos before you reach the pipe, you're out of luck. This lemming-style decision between salvation and utility is very cool to see in a more modern game. With such a simple game concept, it's easy to assume that it would get old quick, but the game offers a huge amount of variety through different types of goos. You've got normal goos, fire goos, digital goos, big horrendous face goos, the list goes on. And it's not even until like 90% of the way through the game that you see all of them. Now the game will last you a long time. There are over 50 stages that'll each take a bit of time to figure out, and even with that potential for monotony, the game remained entertaining and challenging throughout. As far as the presentation goes, I've noticed that all the games I've reviewed to date have had a very pleasantly unique style and feel to them. This game is no exception. Its dark mood and eerie oblong environments have a very Tim Burton or Invader Zim feel to them. This, along with an amazing original soundtrack, combined to make this game stand out among other games in the same genre. Now there is a story in this game, but it really has no impact on the gameplay. In each level, there are signs left by a mysterious sign painter that leave clues to the goals of each chapter. These clues and a few cutscenes are really the only thing we get as far as a story, but like the soundtrack and visuals, what it ultimately does is further immerse the player into the game. Instead of simply building a structure to reach a pipe, you're one step closer to releasing Product Z, or freeing all the deleted spam in the world. Concerning replay, there are really only two options, the first of which are the OCD challenges. Every stage has an extra more difficult goal you can try for in addition to the main one. It's usually capture a certain amount of goos or complete the level in a certain amount of moves, but they can get pretty challenging. If you're the kind of person who plays through speedruns or extreme difficulty, then these challenges alone will expand the life of the game significantly for you. The other option is the World of Goo Corporation. After every stage, any surplus goos you've collected are transported to the World of Goo Corporation, an infinite in all directions free-building playground. You can build whatever you want here, but as it keeps track of your height, you'll generally build a tower. It's funny though, because it also keeps track of everybody else's towers all over the world, so you'll be building for like 10 minutes and start to get bored, but just at that moment a little cloud will float by and be like, hey, some guy in Sweden has a tower taller than yours. And you're like, fuck that shit, and continue building skyward with your only motivation being, be better than some guy in Sweden. I usually like to sum up a game with one trait that really makes or breaks the game for me, but with this game it's really a combination of all of them. At its core, it's a very well-designed, innovative game. The presentation keeps it interesting, the variety keeps it fresh, and the length keeps it lasting. The game overall is just a hit that I had a lot of fun with. I would definitely recommend this game to people into puzzle games, casual gamers, and really anyone who can appreciate good games and can find humor in the absolutely absurd.